Hello, dear friends, and welcome to episode 4 of the Found Humanity podcast. In this episode, filmed in Carlsbad, California, I sat down with Marley, an SDSU student and Australian native. I saw Marley sitting on the grass under a tree, enjoying an ocean view, and got a strong sense of peacefulness and contentment coming from him. So I walked over and I introduced myself. And I'm so glad I did, because he had such a depth of presence that I'm sure you'll feel in this video episode. In the 40-minute conversation, we discussed Marley's journey of exploring his own shadow and what that taught him, the power of surrendering to the moment, the power of the breath, what it looks like to live your life from the heart, and so much more. Marley's innate peace, groundedness, sincerity, and gentle demeanor allowed me to digest every profound insight he shared with ease, and I hope it does the same for you as well. This conversation felt like going to a yoga session, which I've never been to, but can only imagine feels deeply grounding and refreshing. As always, I hope this conversation might offer new insight into what it means to be a human being. So without further ado, here is the lovely Marley.
Hey everyone, g'day. My name is Marley. I was just sitting in the grass on a beautiful Sunday morning, and saw some gentlemen came over and wanted to do an interview, and I said why not, and it made my day 100% better. And it's not even lunchtime yet, so that's amazing. And my day's going great. Went for a swim this morning, and now sitting in the sun trying to warm up, so it's great.
Lovely.
Good.
And could you tell the world about why you chose to be an English major and what stood out to you about that?
Yeah, so I've been a bookworm since I was maybe 4 or 5, and that always stuck with me. And so I was on the path of competitive soccer, and I saw that I was reading books less and less, and I needed to choose for myself, not anyone else, but for myself, and not for my mind, but for my heart, and stick with that. And it was a huge decision, and I'm so happy that I made it, because I couldn't leave literature alone, and I want to use that passion to help people and expose people to that as well. Young kids, young adults, older people, everyone. I think we can learn a lot from literature, and to be well versed and well read in today's society is it's so important, and we can learn a lot from other people's cultures through literature, and that can connect us all, especially in a world that creates a lot of division today. I think we can use literature to connect, and because we're all one, we don't need to be so separated and so divided across different sides and stuff. With all that's going on in the world today, we need to come together, not stray away. So I believe that literature can pull us together a bit. That's just one of the ways. So
That's beautiful, man. Yeah. Is unity like something that's on your mind a lot?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Why?
It's just how we were designed to be, I think. We were designed to be together, and through strength we're supposed to live this life, and life's pretty short, and we don't need any of that anger and stuff like that. And I see the world today and I'm just like, wow, if one more person knew about that little special thing we had inside of us, that's all that matters, and once you find that in yourself, then hopefully you can light the candle for other people, I think, and be like I and I, not you and me, like you and I right here talking, like we're one, like we're connecting, so yeah, I think if everyone can just take a little bit of time and breathe in and out and exhale and feel that, and it's really powerful. So
What taught you that? Like, what taught you how to be grounded?
Geez, I think just growing up, like I never knew the beauty of life. Always, you know, I was finding out through, you know, trials and tribulations, and I still am. And I think that as a young kid, I thought I could, you know, rule the world and stuff like that. And then I grew up and I was like, wow, you know, sometimes life humbles you out, but, you know, you just have to be grateful that you're alive, because we're all walking miracles, you know, like we all came out of our mother's womb, and it's just like that in itself, like that is almost just like all you need to just kind of like, you know, just take a breath and feel that and realize that, you know, like the probability that like you're existing right now is like 1,000,000 to 1, and it's just like when I think about that, that just grounds me. That just puts me in my place, and I'm like, all that other stuff that the mind creates is just not necessary, you know. And sometimes it's easier said than done, because, you know, our mind likes to create a lot of problems and stuff like that for us. But the problems in our mind are only as big as what we have, you know, big as what we have between our ears. That's it. That's all it is. Our mind just creates things like tenfold. But, you know, when you just look at the world around you, this is all for us. This whole world, it's all for us.
Do you feel at home in this world?
Oh yeah, I do.
Have you always felt that way, or has it changed over life? Or
It's definitely changed over life. When I was young, I felt that I was always wanting kind of more, and I was always thinking, oh, what's more out there? I'm not happy with where I am and stuff like that. But at that time, I didn't know that I was going to feel this way in this moment now. And if I knew that, it would have been different, but of course I didn't. And so maturing, getting to know other people, and learning about yourself through other people is just, I cannot stress that enough. That's just so important. And that's helped keep me grounded. And I've just felt like, oh, you know, like almost like just a sense of contentment and relax. And yeah, it's I could talk about this all day.
Please do.
It's amazing. So good. So good. Yeah.
So you feel at home, you feel like when you're with other people or whoever, like you feel connected. What have you learned, or what do you do for work, by the way?
Yeah, so I bartend at a restaurant here in Carlsbad. It works with my school schedule.
And you're a student at
San Diego State.
San Diego State.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's a good trade. But I don't drink. I'm sober bartender.
Nice.
Yeah, been sober for 5 months now, 6 months.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How's that been?
Amazing. Yeah, just the clarity. No headaches in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I'm just I'm happy without it. I don't have the desire to, but at the same time, you know, I think of my job as, you know, helping people to have fun, you know, a little bit, loosen up. And so, you know, if you want to drink, have a drink, and I feel like that's great. So, at the root of it, yeah, just trying to spread joy, trying to put a smile on people's face, you know, that's it.
That's amazing, man.
That's it.
Are you into spirituality at all, or anything
100%.
like that? You are?
Yeah.
What do you enjoy about that? Like, what about it?
Man,
that's a broad question.
that is a broad question.
What got you
yeah,
into
I can go
spirituality?
different directions. I want to say probably some psychedelics got me into spirituality. I feel like I had an awakening maybe a couple years ago, maybe right before I came over. And that time of my life was beautiful. I was going to so many festivals and just hanging out with friends, and a couple gap years off college, and not worrying about anything but just trying to connect with myself and so many people, and part of me was like, oh, I should have went to college straight out of high school, but now looking back, I wouldn't have changed that for the world, because I learned so much about myself, and I just relaxed into my body and stuff like that, and stopped comparing the race of getting my degree to others and stuff like that, and I just was like, oh, like, you're on your own path, and just like accept that. And so the mind was creating all this nonsense and stuff like that, and then when I let that go, I could really just focus like into myself and like my spirituality and like what I unconsciously take away from spiritual practice and what I keep within, and then what I kind of like just discard like respectfully, you know, like, because I think there's a lot of spiritual practices out there, and we're all different, and so I think it's important to, you know, respect that, you know, maybe a certain practice doesn't work for you, but then it works for someone else. And I learned that there's no real right universal way. It's just kind of like what works for you in a sense. And so in those years, I took a lot from every different religion and spiritual practice, whatever, and I just was like, okay, what works for me, and then what doesn't? And I just learned so much about myself in that instance, in those years. And yeah, I think we're all put on this world to learn more about ourselves through experience, through others, and, you know, that's why they call knowledge is like one of the most powerful things. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of the self. That's it. And so all of these things that you can get into in this world, it's all about yourself. And learning about yourself is the most unselfish thing you can do. Maybe on the outside it sounds a bit selfish because you're putting yourself first. That's what we're all here to do. So putting yourself first, learning about yourself. And if you do it alone in this life, that's okay. But if you do it with others, that's amazing. So that's a broad question that you ask.
I love how you answered it. I love it.
Yeah.
What, along that journey, what did you find you let go of? Like old parts of yourself that were let go of? And then what did you discover within yourself or about yourself as you were on this journey?
So when I began this journey, I noticed who my real friends were and who wanted to come along for the ride and who didn't. And respectfully, I saw I was alone and it was scary. And I went, you know, I was down before I could come up. I was maybe a little depressed or something like that. But I saw my old self kind of trying to call me back to, you know, old habits, you know, maybe that I picked up as a teen, as a youth in high school or something like that, when we didn't have any responsibility of, you know, bills or anything like that, or you know, parents were looking after us and stuff like that. And that was just such a carefree time that I feel like it just went like that so quick. And I miss that. I miss high school now, but in that moment you wanted to get out of high school because you just like, oh, I hate school. And so in high school there was, it was fun, but I didn't realize what kind of shadow work that needed to be done so I could kind of ascend, I guess, you know, kind of just let go and mature as a person and be really comfortable in my own skin. And just watching myself grow, it was really scary because I felt isolated, I felt alone, and I didn't really fit in to any crowd. And I thought, well, Marley, you have yourself, and that's enough. And it took me a while to find my crowd, and now I can count my friends on one hand, and that's it. And a lot of those friends are my family and my cousins on one hand. That's it. And so it was tough, but I just, like, my higher self was thanking me, you know, and it still does. And it's like, wow, you pushed through, and because I don't think if I didn't leave Australia, I probably would have been stuck in that same rut. So this was a huge level up for me, was that move over by myself. I didn't come over with anyone. I left when I was 19.
Oh my gosh.
Came over here.
What was the impetus for that?
Like I said, I played soccer, and I had a little pipe dream of playing MLS soccer, and I just had that dream as a kid, but the funny thing is that I came over here and I needed to feel the college, like, life and stuff like that. Not the social and the partiness, but just the rigorousness, and see if I could really see if that was it for me, and if I could kind of, you know, fit into that, because I'm the kind of person that wants to know for themselves. I don't like to take people's word for it. I have to go find out for myself. And that was a huge thing for me, because I came over here, played 1 year, and then I realized I didn't like it. And I was like, whoa, well, what do I want to do? But that was one of the most beautiful things looking back, is that I had a choice. In this life, we have a choice to do whatever we want. And it just gave me so much agency back, and I was like, oh, like I want to, you know, I want to continue to do what I love, and this pathway is not it, but really focus and tap into, you know, what you love. And that's, for me, it's literature. And so I lent into that, into my interest, and now I'm just on such a different trajectory, you know, and for the better. It's amazing.
What do you hope to do once you graduate with your degree and all that?
Yeah, I plan to teach English overseas, and I'm an avid surfer as well. I grew up surfing a lot, and from such a young age, and I would love to teach, you know, kids English as a second language, but also maybe teach them surfing at the same time.
That sounds so cool.
That's like what I thought about the other day, and I was like, I would love to just combine the two and make it unique and put my own little twist on it. And yeah, I think that would be great to just kind of break up the English teaching, because it's some tough stuff. Like, I'm learning linguistics at the moment, and it's a lot of memorization. So I think that break would be much appreciated with the kids, and kind of keep it interesting, and get them out in the water to kind of let it go and come back to reality. And then I'll, you know, get back to teaching. Keep it interesting, keep it fun, keep it light. Not like I want them to look forward to coming to class, you know. So yeah.
What do you think that would give a kid if they learned how to surf and learned English at the same time?
Oh, geez. It would give them a profound amount of maturity, I think. I think they would know a lot about themselves in such little time. I think they will come to be aware of their depths, meaning, you know, bravery, courage, realizing that maybe they have a lot of stuff to learn, but in a good way, you know, that our brains are just like sponges, and we can just soak up like just so much stuff, and that's what they're there for. And so I think learning something that grounds you, such as surfing, and it's almost like meditative kind of thing, like you're at the mercy of nature, Mother Nature in the ocean, and to be in that environment and just kind of, you know, just to surrender, I feel like that's just going to be, they're either going to fall in love with it, or they're either going to, you know, maybe not like it and think it's not for them. But I think having something that maybe takes you away from the classroom is going to obviously help their retention of the material and stuff like that, whatever exercise it may be.
So a holistic approach.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. So
or more holistic than what you'd get if it was just academics.
Just in the academics, yeah, definitely. In Australia, we have some pretty well-known programs that, you know, really lean into surfing for mental health and, you know, suicide prevention and stuff like that. And these foundations are just so research-backed and research-based. And I did a presentation on one specifically found in Sydney, and there's just so much benefits and great health benefits that we can take away from physical exercise and just having a break from the rat race of society, you know, and just letting go and enjoying, laughing with classmates, laughing with teachers, all that stuff. That's what life's about, just to enjoy. And so when you feel that something's taking away, you just have to, you know, surrender to your body, surrender to what you're feeling, and just go have fun and just take a break, you know.
Why is it so hard to surrender? Like, I feel like Western society in particular is so caught up in the rat race and the thinking and the strategizing and the achieving. Like, it's hard to just surrender, to just be. Why is that?
Geez. Just what's pressed down upon us from society. It's just, you know, there's so much expectation on, you know, getting to a certain point in life, and, you know, maybe for a lot of people that's to be wealthy or to be affluent, you know, have status or whatever. And I don't think social media is helping in that respect, you know, the rise of technology and all that stuff. But yeah, it's so hard because a lot of us are geared towards that, and, you know, if you already have friends and family that are looking at that, it's hard to really break away. So, you know, just taking time to learn about yourself, that's just like huge. And so, you know, maybe in the moment a break from school or a break from work is, you know, not good because in the moment, because you have to pay bills, but you just have to listen to your body and overall, and just have mental health breaks, you know. And if you have a purpose and you have drive to complete that purpose, and if that purpose is becoming wealthy, then that's great, because ultimately in that you have to have discipline, and discipline is one of the best things that we can have. And yeah, that's great. Like, I'm not knocking on that, but at the same time, you know, money isn't everything, and human connection and you know, mental health is so much more important, because money can't fix your health, and it's not going to bring you back to life, you know. And yeah, it's the rat race is a tricky one to compete with, and I don't think maybe we necessarily have to renounce everything or something like that, but just to, you know, just be aware. I think just be conscious of where you're going in life, and if the happiness isn't there in the pursuit of wealth, well then I would advise a break is needed, and just to realize what makes you happy, because that's more important.
I love that you said, like, we don't have to renounce every aspect of the rat race, because that to me indicates, like, you're not judging any aspect of someone who would choose that, or it might feel fulfilling in some way.
Yeah. It's when I was a kid, I was a little more extreme than I am now, and that was one of the big things for me, is I thought I had to be really, you know, really against it, and because it almost feels like almost like an underlying pressure and all that stuff, and it's a shame, but, you know, it's one aspect of the world today that maybe, you know, that can, I guess, work against us to kind of maybe, you know, maybe drain some aspect of our happiness or something like that. But like we said, you don't have to renounce anything. Just being alive, like, that's it. Like, you know, people say, some of the greats say, you know, just be here. But that's like, ironically, that's like one of the hardest things sometimes in this world to do. But you'll feel it, like little moments, you know, in this day. Just the breath, because that's never gonna, until you pass, that's never gonna stop. That's what powers us, you know. And anything but that is just kind of an illusion that we create while we're here on this world. And just tapping into that breath is just, it can bring so much contentment, and it can bring a lot of answers to your life that are already within us. We just don't know how to tap into, you know.
So you talked about shadow work earlier, and you just used the word illusion, and I feel like there's similarity. You could almost interchange those two. And then you talked about breath as being kind of a fundamental piece that helps us move maybe into that or through that. Can you connect some of those dots between like shadow work and like what is the first step, second step, good steps to be taking when you're exploring that?
So shadow work I like to loosely define as you know, the stuff that you're doing, obviously, you know, in the shadows, very introspective stuff. And a lot of practices can help bring those maybe issues that you have to the surface. And some of the stuff that I like to tap into is obviously, you know, meditation, journaling, all those kind of obvious steps, you know, praying, mantras, you know, just being aware of what's coming up for yourself and acknowledging it. So these are all kind of, you know, practices of mindfulness in a sense. They all come under that wide umbrella, I would argue. And, you know, breath work, I think, is, you know, without breath work and all that stuff, it's something that enables all these practices to be able to be executed, because without the breath we wouldn't be here, you know. So the breath is a powerful one, and sometimes it's hard to meditate. Sometimes your mind doesn't want to meditate, and, you know, the mind is always going to be there. That's the thing. And having a fight with the mind, it's tricky. It's tricky because you have everything about your day, all the information that we consume and everything on a daily basis, and to just be still with it and to acknowledge I believe is enough. Because we're never going to quiet the mind, you know. It's never going to stop. It's never going to, you know, it's never going to cease. But like I said, the problems that you have in this world, they're all created by what you have between these two ears, you know. And they're only as big as that, really. But your mind likes to create it to just like, you know, beautiful. I mean, your mind likes to create it and just expand. And so I hope that answered your question.
Definitely.
Maybe.
I love it.
But yeah, shadow work is just a practice of the self, I think. Getting to know yourself, and it's very introspective and intuitive, and we learn stuff about ourselves every day. So yeah.
Hold that thought. I'm going to reset this camera. So I guess in closing, what do you think? You mentioned as long as we're alive, we're breathing. Like, that is something that is consistent and foundational to being alive. But so is the mind. And the mind, if we were to make this a binary, you know, good versus bad, you know, the mind can be pretty bad thing at times for our own well-being.
Yeah.
But it can also be a good tool as well.
Definitely.
But what do you think unites us as humans? Like, whether I'm thinking of like breathing, having a mind that functions and operates in these ways. Like, what else unites us as humans in your mind? Like, what are the core things that like unite us?
The heart. 100%. The heart is amazing because it carries that innocence and it's so pure. And to have two hearts connect, and when you connect with someone, that is your two hearts connecting, your physical bodies. And for me, I believe that the heart carries the innocence of a child. Maybe that if you remember that kind of innocence that you have as a kid, that carefreeness that you see kids nowadays, and the little boys, little girls, and they're just running, without any struggle. They don't know about the rat race, or they don't know about what's to come in their life. They're in that moment, in that presence, and that's what it's about. That's just being like that, and just taking time to breathe in and out. It's beautiful, and you can get emotional about it, but you can also just be like, okay, there's nothing else I need to do right now. I just need to listen to that, because that heart is never going to be wrong. That's the thing. It's always going to be there, and it's always going to tell you what's right. And we just need to listen to that and be patient, and it's going to guide us. And maybe the mind can work against it. But the thing is, I do believe the mind is a very powerful tool. But I think that without discipline, it can be a little tricky sometimes, because the mind wants to go here and there and here and there. But the heart, just, if you follow that, it's just going to be, you're just going to have a beautiful life. That's what we all want to have. And there's a lot of things that, want to say out there in this world, saying, choose this diet or choose this practice or something like that. But what about, just being and following your heart on this trajectory through life? That's, in my argument, that's enough. And kids are so beautiful because they serve as a reminder for us of that innocence, and to just tap into that and be reminded of that is just, it's amazing. Sometimes it can bring me to tears, because I'm like, I remember when I was like that, but what's changed to make me not like that? But in reality, nothing has changed. We're still like that, and we can still be like that. So yeah.
What brings you joy?
Breathing in and out. Being alive, like I said, like we're all walking miracles. Like, so many odds were against us, We're like one little cell that made it, and we're alive.
That's wild.
It's just wild. I just think about that, and I'm like, okay, well, where do all my problems stand in that? Like, they just go away, they melt away when I think about that. It blows my mind. So, yeah, life's beautiful.
One more question.
Yeah.
Maybe. What I'm really passionate about division. I used to be a mediator, and like I see these culture wars and stuff,
Yes.
and like all the stuff around us, and it's just distractions.
Yes.
We're all so distracted by it. What do you think divides us? Like, what are the main things to pay attention to when it comes to being divided? And what do you recommend for someone who feels a lot of frustration perpetually towards like another group or something?
Yeah. Well, the mind likes to take everything and blow it up out of proportion. And just, because everyone has in them, we're all equal. And when I say I and I, that's like the big thing, like it's not you and me, it's I and I, like we're all one, we're all equal. So I have that, you have that ability to connect and, to inspire and have compassion with people. But the information wars and all of that, our mind likes to take that and it likes to say, okay, well, I'm right and you're wrong. And that right there, that's like the root of it all, I think, is it creates disagreements, it creates fights. And then once you have that, you can see, as we see now in the world, it's on a larger scale when, countries are fighting against each other. But the thing is that it's never going to stop. It's always going to be something, as long as this human race is alive. But if we can touch one person with maybe the knowledge that you and I have or something like that, and it's a universal knowledge, it's not, and it's free, that's the thing. That's the thing, it's free. You don't have to spend heaps of money, you don't have to go broke, you don't have to renounce everything and, sit in a temple or sit, on a mountain and meditate or fast for 10 years or 20 years. Because the thing is that just to be kind and to be loving and gentle and patient with someone is just, that's how we all should be. But it's so easier said than done. And if I could touch like one person a day or one person a week and just let them know that, hey, dude, like, you're loved by so many people, it's all right, you're a walking miracle. And all that other stuff, it's all an illusion. All this stuff that we create in our heads and all that, and the rat race, the chase for whatever. What about just being, So if everyone could, one by one, or, if I could, give some knowledge to a friend or a family member or my girlfriend or whoever, when you teach other people, you also teach yourself. That's one of the beauties of teaching, is that the stuff that we talk about and that we want others to maybe see or open their eyes to, I always blow my mind, because I'm like, whoa, like, I forgot about that. Like, my heart's talking right now, but like, I'm also talking to myself in a way, so yeah, we're all one, seriously. So
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Marley, you've inspired me. You've done your due diligence this week.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Any closing words of wisdom you'd like to share with the good people of the world?
To sum our interview up, be kind, be patient, be loving, trust in one another, and live this life in unity, no division, and follow your heart, because that's going to help you in this life, and it's our most purest form. So yeah, be kind, enjoy life's blessings, and that's it.
Marley, pleasure to meet you.
Thanks, mate. You too. I appreciate it. So good.
That was amazing.
So good, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
God.
Good.
All right.
Yeah. That's crazy. I know you and I could have just sat here for the whole day and just, like, already just talking about that stuff, I just feel, blissed out. It's the power of knowledge, talking about that stuff, and not the everyday stuff, not the trivial stuff, but just talking about the big things, the maybe profound, maybe the uncomfortable things, it just opens your eyes.
Definitely.
So good.